Hi everyone. Today we will discuss chapter 8, causes and reasons. The main point of this chapter are these points: verbs, practices, folklores, maxims and proverbs, governments and religious laws, the laws of science, contingency shaped versus ruled and governed behaviors, reasoning. I will start with the verbal practices and has 3 points: commands, advice and warning. Commands definition: to give orders or commands, for example like move over, commands to listener to move. And from that we can go to definition of warning, which is describes an act and implies consequences. For example, watch out. When my son, for example, riding his bike outside and I see a car coming toward him, I will say, watch out. Consequences, maybe it's accident. Advice definition is describes behavior and implies positively reinforcing consequences. For example, go south, young lady. And also there is another example Skinner provide: you will make your fortune, and you will make your good luck. Directions and instructions. Definition of instruction is when speaker gives a listener directions by noting or implying or reinforcing consequences. And example for that, which is Skinner provide that example: to get to Boston, follow Route 93 to the intersection with the Route 495, turn left on Route 90. Instruction, another that is a meaning for I did the meaning for directions and now instruction. Instruction is to make further direction unnecessary. For example, my daughter first time she is learning how to drive. To drive a car, she will respond to the verbal prompt of me, because to the person who's sitting next to her, sitting in passenger seat, which me, I'm sitting next to her and I'm giving her verbal prompt, which is, for example, start, stop, do signals, turn left, turn right, and so I'm giving her the command. Another point in this chapter is folklores, maxims, and proverbs. These 3 points help strengthen behavior, which makes the behavior effective. I will start with folklores. Folklores is different form of instruction, can be passed down generation to generation because they describe long-lasting contingencies. Folklores can gain permanency in a culture and also make it easy to teach. Maxims, for example, and Skinner who provide that example: to lose a friend, lend him money, describes a behavior which is lending money, and describes a consequence which is losing a friend. Another point in this chapter is governmental and religious law. When people began living in groups, they started partaking in certain practices which were detrimental to others. They were then punished by those they injured. For example, a person may start out obeying the commandments to "thou shalt not steal," refrain from stealing to avoid disapproval and criticism of his friends. Next point in this chapter, the law of science. Upon learning the laws of science, a person is able to behave effectively under the contingencies of the complex world. For example, a farmer plowing soil, the farmer spading the soil by using a machine who is made long enough to apply force to the soil in order to move it, which is controlled by contingency. Another point in this chapter is contingency-shaped versus rule-governed behavior. Rules are often learned faster than behaviors that are shaped by contingencies that they describe. Rules are easier to learn within the instruction. For example, push down on the gear shift lever before moving it into reverse position. Versus that example who gonna be hard to learn, this gear shift operates like that in BMW. The rules here are unclear and not very effective. Last point is reasoning and has two main things, induction and deduction. I will start with inductions. Reasoning from part to whole. For example, an organism is reinforced on one or more occasions is said to infer or judge that similar consequences will follow upon similar occasions. Deduction is driving a rule from the contingencies, the applying or discovery of rules. Drives new rules from old rules. That's what I have in chapter 8. And my question is, how did you understand the instruction and the direction? Which one is easier for you to learn? Did you agree or disagree with Skinner about contingency-shaped versus rule-governed behavior? Explain why do you agree or disagree. Thank you for listening.